What's up everyone, it's Blue here at Bluebears Games, and today's video will be my upgrade guide for the Paradox Power Universes Beyond Doctor Who Commander Precon. Before I get to today's video, I want to first take a moment to let you know that if you'd like to help support my channel, you can do so in the following ways. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share any of my content on your socials so other people can discover it, and or watch some of my many other videos yourself. In addition to that, if you're interested in ways that you can help support my channel monetarily, please read the description of this video, and there you will find a myriad of options for what you can do to help me keep this channel going. Anything that you can do to help is greatly appreciated, and I thank you for it. Now with that out of the way, let's begin. As is always the case when I do these guides, I will show you the cards that I would recommend removing first, and then I'll show you the cards that I would add back in to help make this deck play a little better. This deck has a lot of similarities to the timey-wimey deck, and if there was a commander or a partner pairing that was all four colors of these two decks that fit the themes of basically just playing cards from anywhere except your hand, I would recommend doing that. As it is, there is no such thing that I'm aware of, so this guide will be done with a mindset of keeping the 13th Doctor and Yasmin Khan as the commanders. Since this deck and the timey-wimey deck were so similar, I tried to come up with cards that were different from last week's guide. I believe I was able to do that quite well, so let's start this all off by showing you which cards I would take out. I would remove Temple of the False God, Bill Potts, Dan Lewis, Nardole Resourceful Cyborg, Strax Sontaran Nurse, the 12th Doctor, Lunar Hatchling, Frostfair Lure Fish, Ponder, Preordain, Surge of Brilliance, Start the TARDIS, Truth or Consequences, Last Night Together, Twice Upon a Time, Fugitive of the Judoon, Become the Pilot, Psychic Paper, and TARDIS. That's 19 cards in total that I have recommended removing, and I can already hear the puzzling groans of why I would remove Ponder and Preordain. Trust me, what I'm about to show you to add back in will make it all make sense in just a moment, so why don't I do that now? I'll start by showing you 7 creatures that I feel are just pure upgrades. Number 1 is Cami of Whispered Hopes. This one helps advance a counter's theme, provides some really good ramp, and can even be used in combat situations if needed. This is just an all-around great card to swap in. Number 2 is Questing Druid. As an adventure, it allows you to cast spells from exile. This is that red style of quasi-card draw that I had mentioned in the unboxing video. As a creature, it shouldn't be too hard to get counters on it since this is a 3-color deck with plenty of non-green spells to cast. Creature number 3 is Evolution Witness. While it has the ability to put counters on itself, you can only do this once, so that's not the reason that I would add this. The reason is because the commander can do it repeatedly for you, making the ability to get things back from your grave much more useful. Creature number 4 is Lelia, the Blade Reforged. This creature gives you both themes in one card. It exiles cards from your library and allows you to play them, and it gets counters for doing what the deck wants to do. I do want to mention one important thing here real quick. When a card uses the phrase that you may play those cards, that includes that you may play a land as long as you have an available land drop for the turn. Had this card read that you may cast the cards, then you would not be able to play a land from the exiled cards. That's a very important distinction, and I wanted to point it out specifically. Creature number 5 is Bone Horde Dracosaur. This is your big play creature. 5 mana for a 5/5 flying first striker in today's standards is okay, but it's the last ability that pushes this past okay and into great for this build. Not only does it exile cards and allow you to play them, but it also gives you either a creature or a treasure token based on what the card that was exiled was. Creature number 6 is Fibblethip, Lost on the Range. I've been wanting to recommend this card since it was spoiled, but didn't have the right build until now. The plot mechanic is a great fit for the theme here, and it gives it to every card that's on the top of your library. And finally, the last creature for this section that I'll recommend is called Herald of Secret Streams. The main win con for this deck is combat damage, so I figure, since it's already handing counters out, why not make those creatures unblockable because of it? Makes sense, right? Next, I want to show you 6 sorceries that I'd recommend adding. Truth be told, I'm kind of surprised some of them weren't already in the deck to start. The first 3 that I'm going to show you are almost identical. They are Ren's Resolve, Reckless Impulse, and Embrace the Unknown. As you can see, all of them exile 2 cards from the top of your library and allow you to play them until the end of your next turn. The first 2 that I showed you are actually exactly the same card with different names, while the third one costs 1 more to cast, but gives you the ability to retrace it for that 1 extra mana. The 4th sorcery that I'd recommend adding is called Ignite the Future. As you can see, this card is very similar again to the 3 I just mentioned, only now it costs 4 mana, exiles 3 cards instead of 2, has flashback, and if you've played it from your graveyard, those cards that you exiled can be cast for free. Sorcery number 5 is called Raven Form. It's no secret that all 3 of these colors have very subpar removal, but this one isn't too terrible, and it fits the theme that the deck is going for nicely with its Foretell ability. And finally, the last sorcery that I'll recommend is called Expressive Iteration. Essentially, it does 3 different things to the top 3 cards of your library for 2 mana that you want. It puts 1 card in your hand, it exiles 1 that you can play, and it kinda scries 1. There's not a bad thing to do in the bunch. Moving on to enchantments, there are 2 that I'll recommend. The first one is called Wild Wasteland. If a card is going to make you skip your draw step, the rest of what it does better be damn worth it. Luckily, this is. In essence, you're forgoing drawing your 1 card for the turn to gain access to 2. The only thing I wish that this did differently was let you play them until your next turn's end step. The other enchantment that I'll recommend adding is called The Lost and the Damned. Sound familiar? It should. I suggested this card in last week's upgrade guide, and I'm doing it again for the same reason. This deck wants to win by combat damage, and this enchantment creates pretty sizable creature tokens for you, for free mind you, for doing what it already was doing anyway. And the last card that I'll recommend before showing you a combo is an artifact called Wand of Wonder. This is kind of my fun recommendation, but don't get it twisted. The stronger your opponent's cards are, the stronger this can actually be. For example, let's say your opponent is playing an extra turns Narset build. Now, you're partially playing an extra turns build too. The possibilities are endless for what kind of crazy shenanigans that this could help you pull off, and I'd love to hear some of the stories if anyone does end up using this. Now we've come to the combo part of this guide. I have 3 spots left to fill, but I'm going to show you 4 cards because one of them I already recommended to you earlier. The first 2 cards that I'm about to show you are actually the combo itself. They are Kami of Whispered Hopes, paired with Vigian Graft Mage. Once the Kami has 2 counters on it, you can produce infinite mana in any combination of colors that you like. That won't win you the game by itself, which is why the 2 remaining spots I'm going to show you 2 different ways to spend that mana. The first way is simply to use it on a huge Comet Storm. This is the best version of a fireball effect currently in the game. The fact that it's also an instant just means that you can pull this off anytime you want, even in response to another player going off, since all parts of this can be done at instant speed. If that doesn't tickle your fancy though, I would also add in Simic Ascendancy. This is a constant outlet for all that mana that can help you win in two ways. There's the boring "you just win" clause, of course, but it's also just a way to make all of your dudes ridiculously big even if you don't have the infinite mana. If you get it out early but don't have the combo, and nobody removes it, you can just start placing counters on your dudes over time, and if you've got the Herald out, those dudes you put counters on are unblockable. That's some pretty good synergy right there. This whole combo is pretty straightforward and easy to understand, but if you need me to explain any of it, please ask in the comments and I'll be more than happy to do so. And there you have it, folks, my upgrade guide for the Paradox Power Universes Beyond Doctor Who Commander Precon. While everything that I just showed you might not make this Precon a top tier deck, it will help make it better overall and a hell of a lot more fun to play. Like I said at the end of the timey-wimey Precon upgrade guide last week, I really like what this deck is trying to do. They're basically the same deck with different colors for the most part. In my opinion, this one does it just a little bit better thanks to it having green rather than white. I mean, that is what green's known for after all. Also, like I said in last week's video, this is more of a fun deck rather than a competitive one, but it does look like a hell of a lot of fun to play. If any of you out there watching have actually played this deck, please tell us your experience in the comments. Well, folks, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching, and if you're looking for more stuff to watch, please browse my playlists, as I'm sure you'll find a lot more of my videos that you'll like. Before you go, though, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so you can get notified every Friday when I release new content. Have a nice day, and I hope to see you real soon.